Good morning. Today I will be doing my individual oral commentary on the poem Acquainted with the Night. The poem Acquainted with the Night was written in 1927 by the famous American poet Robert Frost. It is meant to be a calm story, as depicted through the title. The title starts off with an understatement and transitions into the night, which is more peaceful, tranquil, and isolated. This poem has been seen as Frost's response to flirting with darkness, and is a definite allusion to John Doyle's idea of artlessness, and how something can be simple and blank, yet complex and carry a lot of meaning. The central theme of this poem is how darkness parallels with solitude and the lack of human connections that are made in the current era. The first example of this is the physical structure that Robert Frost gave the poem. It is stamped with his signature iambic pentameter, which mimics the walk that the character goes on through the rain. Not only that, but the actual rain itself and the pitter-patter that it has on the roads. It can also resemble the clock, which is mentioned in line 12, referring to the moon, one luminary clock against the sky, and also in line 5 with the watchman. There are plenty of caesuras in this poem, which are grand pauses. These mimic the actual footsteps that the character is taking, and it gives it a sense of reality that the person is walking. One other important thing that the structure gives to the theme is the use of anaphoras and end-stopped lines. The anaphoras are present with the phrase, "I have." It is present in lines 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and the last line. The end-stopped lines have 3 in the first stanza, 2 in the second stanza, and 1 in the third stanza, and so on. This is significant because with both of these devices, they are heavy in the beginning and then progressively decrease as the lines go on. This shows a loosen and control that the poet has over the poem, which can parallel the loosening of the control that the character has over his actions and the fact that he will stay in solitude and won't go out of his way to connect with others. A specific example of this, as of something else that goes into the theme, is the instance with the watchman. The watchman can be seen as an allusion to God. This is because when he walks by, in line 6, it says, "and dropped my eyes unwilling to explain." This shows a sense of guiltiness, a shame, or embarrassment that the character has over walking past this being who is watching him. In a more literal sense, it can show a shame from civilization that the character has, because he is passing this person, yet doesn't go out of his way to even make a notion towards him. This shows a human connection opportunity that was lost. Moving on, this poem is about a simple walk of observation. When you first look at it and you first read it, you see that it is just a character walking through a city in the darkness at night. There is no human connection. It seems very alone, and other than the watchman, there are no people described. except for in stanza 3 and also stanza 4, talking about the citizens of the area and how they were having an interrupted cry, yet not to the main character. Because line 9, or rather line 10, says, "But not to call me back or say goodbye," which is very indifferent in this situation. So, even though there are other people mentioned, he has no instance where there is a situation going along with them. We can see this indifference also in line 13, where it says, "Proclaimed the time was neither wrong nor right. I have been one acquainted with the night." This has a significance because it is indifferent whether the character is making a decision, and there's not necessarily a specific decision, yet it shows that it shows the indifference that the character has. Moving along in this simple walk of observation, line 3, which says, "I have outwalked the furthest city light," shows the character leaving this sense of light from the city into the darkness. He is leaving behind those sounds of people, and he is leaving the civilization behind. He is leaving the safety that comes along with it, and also the hope that is given by the light. The hope that is given by the light that he is leaving further shows the theme of how darkness can parallel solitude. Another interpretation that many people have had was that the character might be a participant in some sort of darker action. This can be supported in line 6, which I've already mentioned, where the character is unwilling to explain something to the watchman or God. And acquainted with darkness is being along with something not good. But it is, along with many Robert Frost things, it is very ambiguous. So the structures, situations, and interpretations all lead into the theme of darkness paralleling solitude. Thank you.